Search Records. Wow. And you have just been inducted into the Oregon Music Hall of Fame. How does this feel for you?
Well, up until about 5 minutes ago, it was very nerve-wracking because there's a reason that there's many reasons I'm not in a band and don't like being on stage. One is I can't write a song or play an instrument, but I have public speaking phobia for sure, and love not being on stage. And so I feel great right now coming off stage, but I'm honored and humbled to be inducted into the hall. I've been to this event many times over the years and watching a number of my artists be inducted, so it's really wild to be up there getting this honor. And I understand from Terry Courier that it might be the first record label in the hall, so go little record labels, which is kind of not a thing anymore in the digital era, where unless you're a music dork, you don't care or know about labels. There's this curation of a scene or a curation of a genre. It happens, but it's pretty loose. I mean, people don't care, So I guess the reason people care about Cavity Search is the long list of incredible artists that I've had the pleasure to work with. So it's the roster of a label that makes a label worth talking about and honoring.
Well, talk about the roster for people who don't know.
Well, we're 31 years in, and for about 10 years ago, we were starting to get that we're a heritage label, like, what are we, like Baby Ryko or something? And, we've been putting out new music, but we're just so well known for that 90s Portland scene, the Hazel, the Heat Miser, the Trailer Queen, the heavy loud stuff of Dirt Cloud Fight and Atomic 61 and Gern Blanston. And that's great and it's awesome, but those bands basically don't exist anymore. So, we've put out, literally hundreds of records by artists that, most people don't know the names of, which people didn't know the names of Hazel and Heat Miser when we put those out either, other than about 100 local people. So we went on to put out Elliott Smith's first solo record. We went out to put on Pete Krebs' first solo record. We still are putting out Pete Krebs records. There's this whole new run of artists that are in their 20s that are making this amazing music, and they're singer-songwriters, they're artists, and, they can sit down with an acoustic guitar or they can be in a full electric band. I seem to be drawn to the artist who is writing for multiple instruments and has the ability to be alone with an acoustic guitar on an airplane to go do a show or a tour, and the following week can get in the practice place with their electric band and go for it. I don't seem to have just one or the other. And this wasn't by design, but now as I've gotten older and I look back, that's kind of, that's kind of the MO. The genre of music doesn't matter so much as it does about the human and humans writing and being multi-instrumental, so that has just been where I've, it's where I've gone. I put out the music I like, and if other people like it, that's great. And if they don't, that's okay too. It's art,
You mentioned this about the way music is being delivered now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you survive in this digital world where nobody really knows record labels that much anymore?
Yeah, well, Cavity Search Records is a 31-year-old truly independent label. We've never had any assistance financially from an outside source. And, some pockets of years are really nice and, people are getting a little bit of coin, and other years it's not good on paper. But I think I learned, I'm in my 50s now, and in my 30s I realized this is my passion and I want to do this regardless of whether I make a bunch of money doing it or don't make any money doing it. So I personally have branched out in my world, and I provide a lot of services to primarily music industry folks, but I own a small professional services company that does everything from publishing administration to the running of artists' labels. So I spend a lot of time in the publishing world and adminning publishing, and I really enjoy because it's kind of the last great stream of income in the industry. I really enjoy placing material that I control in film and television. And that, to be brutally honest, is how Cavity Search still exists. Because if Cavity Search was going to exist just on digital sales, we would have been done a long time ago. But the point is, I'm not going to be done. Well, someday I will physically be done. But it won't be because one year the label loses money and the next year that we make. We didn't start the label to make money. We started it to be kind to our favorite local bands who didn't have any way of putting their music out, so we figured it out.
Is there significance to the name Cavity Search?
Well, early on we used this tagline. It was the music that gets inside of you, the music that gets in you. And of course this is all pre 9/11, so you get a lot of, what does that mean? Are you have a thing with dentists or something? So yeah, it's always been an awkward name. My partner Christopher Cooper, I started the label with, who's deceased now, came up with a couple of names for me to choose from, and I picked the Cavity Search one because the other one was worse. So, but it's worked out really well. But post 9/11, it's like, oh, okay. Pre 9/11, not everyone really understood. It just wasn't as commonly thrown around as a phrase, a term, an action, an activity. What is it? Anyway, that's the story. It's music that gets in you. It's music that gets inside you. Yeah.
And it obviously has continued to get inside of you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, every time I work with these artists, I'm so lucky to do it. I mean, I had one of my artists play in my living room a few hours ago, and this kid from Nashville is just blowing my mind, and I feel like it's 1992, and I'm seeing Heat Miser on stage, and I'm like, whoa, is that real? I mean, is that really going on? Neil Gust and Elliott Smith screaming into microphones like they're Fugazi or something? I mean, it just absolutely blows your mind. Their demo tapes came out yesterday on vinyl. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you still obviously love what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't try to not do things I don't like to do. So
That's good. That's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Especially as we get older.
Yeah, you get up in the morning and you're faced with a bunch of choices and you make the best ones you can, and then you get up the next day and you do it again, and then all of a sudden here you are, and this is what you do, and that's who you are, so we are our choices. So I'm trying to be diligent about making the best ones I can, and curating music and being in the art scene. I love it. It keeps me alive. As a very left brain non-artist myself, I love hanging out with right-brainers. I have something to provide to them, makes me feel good, it strokes my ego, and I can provide a service that it seems like not very many other people are providing in the independent music scene.
When you think about the Oregon Music Hall of Fame, I'm sure you're very familiar with their mission of helping education, helping kids learn in schools, because a lot has been taken away. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Big time. Well, I'm thankful that we have people like Terry and this organization to further that. It's a serious need because we have so many issues that we can't afford to bring to the finish line, and to be able to, provide money to the arts and music specifically, it's critical to the success of our society, which is obviously challenged. So yeah, I love it, and I'm down and proud to be a part of the whole thing.